Hey friends, I know some of my peeps have been wondering what's been going on with my honey and my bees, wanting me to buy some, and been working with a label manufacturer. I finally got my labels for my jars, so things will be up and running in a short time. Actually, last weekend was Labor Day weekend, and I did a big harvest at that point, so it was it's going to be probably the best one I've ever had. I'm estimating maybe about 75 pounds altogether. It was kind of a mixed week because there was good news and bad news. I mean, good news, there was a lot of honey available. Bad news was that this hive here, Ocean View, and that hive over there, Brick House, had no queens in them. They had died off somehow, maybe operator error. Beekeepers are known to accidentally squash the queen, but as of 2 weeks ago, there were cells for trying to raise new queens, but then last week I saw no eggs, no queens, and I was hoping that it was just a matter of time, that they hadn't matured yet. You know, the queen has to mature for 3 days, then go out and breed, and then she has to mature for another 3 days for the spermathecae to be ready, and then they only start laying. Well, here's the good news, that I checked everything out here today, and at least right now I've just opened up the one hive here. Move it, ladies, move it. Angry bees, yeah, they're a little more defensive this time of year, but in any sense, I'm gonna try to do my best here to do it barehanded, which is always a little tougher this time of year because they're more on guard about watching their supplies of honey, and they're a bit more short-tempered than they are in the spring. But anyways, trying not to squash anybody. Hang on, ladies. What I've got in here, oh goodness, that was bad. Anyways, kind of hard to tell here, but I am loaded with eggs in these things. So sometimes if you get the camera angle just right, and if I had a third arm, I'd do some extra zooming, but because I don't, you have to take my word for it that there's eggs, and they're putting in royal jelly, which is the initial baby food for the first few days, and that is looking awesome. There are several frames on this one, so we've got ourselves at least an opportunity to continue raising babies, because now, being September, really what they're starting to do, they're starting to raise bees for overwintering. All these girls live maybe about 4 to 6 weeks. The winter bees are supposed to survive throughout the winter and keep the queen alive, keep themselves fed until the following spring. So good news, because if there is no queen laying, no winter bees, means dead bees, means dead colony, means not a lot of production. Brick house now is a problem. I put in one frame of brood in there last week just to make sure maybe they'd be raising another queen on there, but unlike my Ocean View where there are lots of eggs, even though I didn't find the queen, these frames on the bottom are effectively empty. There's like really nothing going on in here, just empty cells, and a bunch of demoralized bees. They're trying to raise one cell in the other one for an emergency queen, but it's kind of discouraging because either it didn't take, or I could have a non-laying queen in here, which would be really catastrophic, because if they're not killing her off, then I would have to seek and destroy her, because they wouldn't raise a new one unless we replace her. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow a few frames of brood from the healthy hive over here, transfer that over here from fossil box over there, give them some of these empty frames to do something with, and then be on a hunting trip for the queen if I could find her. Otherwise, I still have a little time to raise up a queen. I'm 2 for 3 right now, and that's the thing. Once I get queens in all 3, I should be good for the winter, but this one is still at risk of dying off completely. So here we actually have a pretty good frame with brood from that I pulled out of here to borrow for that one. Here we can actually see, if I zoom in, again I only have one hand, you could actually see eggs Oh, light, will you help out? Eggs and larvae starting to develop with the royal jelly in them. So this will be a great transfer. Now you want to take the bees off so they don't have that. And there's actually a very important reason why this frame, I have to especially pay attention to getting the bees off, because let's see if we found her. I saw the queen on here. Queenie, where'd you go? Alright folks, this is so hard to do one-handed. But along here, queen bee was on this frame, so I want to gently take her off and obviously make sure she stays with this hive. That would be catastrophic if they moved her over and then she ended up killing them off. There you are. There's the mama. See her with the big abdomen kind of crawling around there. There she is in the bottom frame there, moving around. So I'm going to get her back into the hive and get this frame over. I am having a little bit of a better week now finding queens. I was having a hard time all summer, but I put in 3 frames of babies into this thing, and then I decided to go for a hunt. Like I said, I was considering hunting down and killing the queen bee, but I found her. And as I'm speaking, I'm still looking for her because I lost her again. But the thing was, her abdomen, there she is. See, she's crawling right on the edge there. There she is on the underside. Well, may have to give her the benefit of the doubt for 1 week. I did give some baby eggs in here, but she is so thin. See her right there in the corner? She's so thin compared to the other fat queen. There, you're on the underside now. I'm just thinking she might be a new queen that hasn't bred yet. And I think we've got to give her a little time on that. So I'm going to spare her so I don't set myself back another 2+ weeks. But if next week there are no eggs, she's a dead mama, unfortunately, because then I've got to start over and get things going. But anyways, that's the answer. So I know there is a queen. She isn't laying now. I've got 3 babies, frames, and so if there are new eggs in a week, that means she's been laying. So better get to work, Mama Bee. Time's running out.